Hey everyone, thanks for joining me for another episode of Learn to Earn with Carrie. But this time, over the next few weeks, I am going to be talking to you about my real estate journey. So today I'm going to talk to you about why I got my real estate license. And then next week, you can learn about what it's like to take the course. Some of you may have already taken the course. And then I'll talk about when I after I passed the exam and what it was like when I first started, like that first day, everything I had to go through. I'll talk about my first year, and then I'll kind of talk to you about what it's like to work with kids, a family, a husband, cooking dinner, and why it might be a little bit different for some of us that have a family. So here we go. This was me. This was me years ago. One day I'll figure out where to look, right? So this was me years ago. So back in 1997, I worked for a builder. And at the time it was Montalbano Builders. And when I worked for Montalbano Builders, I worked on the weekends. So I didn't work full time, but I learned a lot about new construction. And it was actually the first place I bought my first house. It was a townhouse. I still own it and it's now a rental. So I worked for the builder. And the reason why I worked for the builder is they asked me because I was coming in there all the time. I was so excited. I'd go to church on Sunday and then I'd go drive my neighborhood. And I think we have about 190 townhouses. Now, and here's what I remember. Now I worked there, learned about a lot about new construction. I know what to put in a house because of new construction. I probably should talk about that one day. And here's what I remember. And and I'm in a better place today, but even growing up, and we could blame my mom if we want, but my mother always said, I didn't think I had to teach you how to pay bills because I paid my bills on time. Although there's some of us you need to teach us what to do. Now, I had to write a lot of letters to the lender. Why didn't I pay this bill on time? What was happening with this? And so I'm going through this whole process and I'm trying to figure out what was this like? Why did I have to do all of this? I did everything they asked because I wanted the house bad enough. I was sick and tired of paying rent. I was tired of coming outside and there was something weird on my car because maybe I took somebody's parking spot. Like I was done. I wanted to own a house. So I did everything they said. But here was the kicker and why I got my real estate license. I got my real estate license, of course, because I thought it was fun. But the biggest one was I felt like the mortgage process wasn't explained to me. Now I could have gone into being a loan officer, but I still liked houses. I liked HGTV. I liked it, like the do-it-yourself programs. I can sew. So for me, that was kind of the cool thing. So my real estate agent was awesome. She's also an attorney today, but I'll tell you, and she actually knew more than the attorney when we closed. She actually knew to ask when I bought my property, she knew to ask for an attorney addendum. She knew how to negotiate her commission, even though she didn't show up the first time because I didn't know. But she said, when you walk in there, tell them you're working with an agent. Don't fill anything out, because I was that motivated. And let me just tell this to all of my buyer friends out there. This is how we make a living. If you see new construction and you really, really want to go in, call me, because this is how we make a living. So anyway, so I made sure she got paid, but I also knew that even working with a loan officer, and he was great. I don't even know if Market Street Mortgage is still out there, but when we closed, I didn't know I could buy the house. I didn't even know what I was approved for until we closed. So my first house was 129. That's what we closed at. And the property was like 126. They threw in the basement, whatever that means, right? You're like, they didn't throw in the basement, Carrie. It was just included in the price. So I remember that I could have purchased at 145. I was really approved for 145. So I could have had a fireplace. I could have had them put in the ceiling fans because there were so many things I had wished I had done. But again, I didn't know I could buy the house until I closed. So that is why I got my real estate license. Now, it was a few years later. So I bought in 1997. So actually, and there were some cool things that happened. And this is what I learned through the process is if you want a house bad enough, you'll figure it out. So back in 97, someone didn't pay your closing cost credit. When you bought new construction, you had to put down 5%. So I went under contract in July, not knowing if I could buy. What pushed me to new construction is we kept losing out on houses because people were overbidding. That was a thing back then. So I had to put down 5%. I had to, so this was July, we didn't close until November. So let me tell you how to eat out of Aldi for like July, August, September, October, November, for like 5 months, because I had to pay my rent and I had to pay money towards a down payment. Luckily, I had a mom that had money aside for me, so she gave me some money. But here's the other thing I had already done, because I knew I wanted a house, is I took a percentage of my income and put it into savings so I would have money to close. So whenever I got paid, let's say I got paid $1,000 a month, although we know maybe I was like 3,000, 30% of my income went into savings so I would have money to close. And I had done this a few years before. And you have 401k. So there was all these things I was doing to plan to own. But again, I didn't know I could buy until I closed, until they gave me the keys. So here's my point. So now if I were to work with a buyer, I know what it was like to go through the process. I know what it's like to have the conversations of, I don't know if I can buy. You can buy if you really want to. You might have to fix some things, because I had to write a lot of letters. So for those of you that are thinking about getting into real estate, try to go through the process of buying a home first, or at least get out your notebook, because this is what I do even when I go live or create videos. I write down what I'm going to talk about. Write down what you really want. Write it down. What do you need to fix? Call a loan officer. Call me, text me, email me, so we can get you to talk to a loan officer so we can help you with the process. So again, I got into real estate because I thought the process could be easier or better. I also got into real estate because I wanted to be available for my kids. So there you go. So thanks for joining me. And next time, join me where I kind of talk to you about what it was like to take that course, what it was like to take the real estate exam. If you are not in the Agent Journey membership, feel free to join. If you're like, Carrie, I don't even show up to half this stuff, then consider buying my courses that I make available, because I do offer our master classes that I teach to the agents as just like a separate add-on if you want them. Don't forget to hit the bell here on YouTube and join me on Instagram, where I go live typically every Friday at 9 a.m. Central. Thanks for joining.